Santa.
I go in and holler, Merry Christmas, you know.
Merry Christmas.
You have a drink, Santa. You can take a break, man.
I know, they were going to buy me a beer last time.
Both of your devices, by the way, both work. You say the piece of the white mantle broke off, hit somebody in the back of the head, and killed them. Previous owner of the bar used to see dark shadows in the middle of East Bay Street after closing. I say allegedly a lot with that one because I have no proof. It's just a great segue so nobody thinks about getting sick on the tour. Like, that's the whole point of that. So, because Quinn's like, he had a little worried face on it.
Oh, my bad.
So, we're going to go teach you guys more about your gear. Any major questions before we get started? Any major concerns?
You said killed and the word shot popped up.
I like shot. You take shot. Okay.
That's all I got.
Oh, now she wants to live with it. She's like, she's got one. Like they're gonna
I'll get ahead of it.
Score.
I gotta win.
I don't keep score. All right,
Not
well,
yet.
at least not between my ghost hunters. It's a score together. All right, let's go lunch time. All right. Bring the devices a little bit further now that everything's inside your hands. This is where we keep some of the horses for your carriage rides. Okay, so you guys can probably smell them. It's pretty chilly out here. You might not be able to, but I can't because I'm out here day and night. At least most nights anyway. But at the same time, the history here is really short. It's just a great example for all of the gear. This is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So 1860s to 1920s. So that's the rough estimate. So that's it. That's the whole history. So keywords here would be delivery, milk, eggs, anything relative to a stable. Now, what's the first question everybody wants to ask a Ouija board when they get in front of one? Come on, Glenn.
Are you there?
Exactly. Well, is anybody here, right? Is usually the first question.
Yeah.
Emma, would you agree to that?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't like
She's-
Ouija boards. They freak her out.
So I usually say, think of a TV show or a movie if you've never used it. Okay, so the first question is always like, is anybody here? And let's say we all ask that question, and then Emma hears the answer no. That means somebody's here. Okay, exactly. So we're not going to be using yes/no questions all night long. A lot of times at these locations, I'll give you impromptu questions. If you're going to go rogue, just make sure that they're not yes/no questions. So I will always give you questions that we commonly get the answers to. With our new location that we're testing out tonight, because again, November, December, I always try to test out a new location for the next following year. So you guys are always kind of like my guinea pigs, and it is with a brand new device. So we'll be testing that device once we get to that location. But with that space, you guys will be helping me come up with the questions. So it is a murder mystery. So I don't have all the answers. So I'm trying to get you guys to give me all of the common questions. I do keep track of those. Once I get back to the office and I listen to the full audio from that particular spot, I write them all down and I start to see what's common. Like what do we really want to know to kind of see what's going on there. We'll get to that in just a minute. So when we're training people how do you listen to a spirit box or use a communication device, I usually tell you guys to ask questions you kind of already know the answers to, or you kind of at least know the basis of what you're listening for. For example, if somebody's here, tell me what color a big red barn is. Obviously, we are listening and looking for the color red. The word red, however, might not be available to a song lyric or a DJ. Fire truck, blood, heart. Those three things are specifically red. I would take that as possibly being paranormal if something else was going on. That could be an EMF reading, another word, something on the cameras. You guys are getting the point. However, let's give you a perfect example. Let's say Sarah's Ouija board gives us the word art. That doesn't mean anything over here by itself. Okay? So Quinn, here's the number 40 coming out of hers. If you put both of those clues together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You see where this is more like an escape room where you need the puzzle pieces to instead of a ghost story. Okay. Cameras. So I think you already have the gist. Don't point at cars, don't point at people. Especially with yours, Tim. Do not point your camera at cars. We will be in spaces like this where there's going to be parked vehicles. People get really weirded out when we're using a thermal camera against their car. You kind of get the point. Exactly. However, I do want you to try to keep one of us in view at all times. Simply because I make that joke at the beginning on purpose, so that way you remember that we are the warmest thing out here, so that way we have a point of reference for when a cold spot will appear. Does that make sense?
It does.
You're also going to try to keep the sky out of view. If you haven't noticed, your blue dot will default to the sky because there is no surface. That is a surface reading temperature only.
Yep.
So if you can, it's going to be impossible in some spaces, just try to keep the sky out of view.
It's going across the top.
Exactly, like a ghost is hovering above us, right? So that's not the case. There's just no surface up there. Any other major questions on your gear?
Where's the best place to hold this without pushing any buttons?
Without pushing buttons?
Yeah, I don't want to push anything on the sides. Or...
When I'm using it, I usually just grab it like this, straight across, and it is kind of loose, but that way I can see the whole screen.
Okay.
And if you do hit buttons, it's not a big deal. You can't screw this up.
Okay.
So, All right. Do you have anything going on with your Luigi board guy yet? Did you hear anything? I know you had your headphones off. Do you have anything?
Not yet.
Not yet? Good. All right, let's roll in. Awesome. Good to know. Let's start talking about EMF. Let's circle in, everybody. So, EMF readings. To kind of give you an explanation of what Sarah's actually looking at. By the way, if you have a camera, hit those record buttons. Let's get this party started. So, she just had a 5.3. The average for this location is between 18 and 22. Let me put that in reference to things around your home, so you know what you guys are looking at. Your TV set gives off about 40 to 60 milliamps with that kind of trees. Okay, so if she was standing next to her microwave, it's heating up for food or a cup of coffee, it's going to read about 150 to 170. Average for this location is between 18 to 22. I normally see that 5 out of 7 nights a week. That is a strange anomaly because this place has no electricity. You're going to see some lights around the edges of the wall here. They are solar panels. They not give off any EMF. Last night was astronomical. It just stayed high all night, the entire time that we were here. So it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So you can go back and look at those readings. It was crazy, and he had a lot of them. So it's kind of a weird thing. So I just kind of like to point that out. The highest EMF I've ever had in my 14 years of ghost hunting has been at this location, 214 milliamps. We left. Too much electricity for the guy with seizures. So you guys are getting a point. It's not safe. I've always had him came back to your house about it. Particularly that one, because it measures a digital format. So where the heck are you? You're in a parking lot. Yeah, guys, you think. So this place used to be something. Keep in mind we do have vehicles in here. So obviously unless it's your own vehicle, you can see how long he's been parked here, by the way, by holding it right
By how warm it is, yeah.
So just be mindful if people are going to their cars, just point the camera in the opposite direction. But this place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney mansion site. So their mansion sat in the front of this space, right where those two SUVs. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant all the way across from where we're standing. And back here, this is where the servant and slave quarters were for the home. So that's the layout of the land when you guys are exploring. Let's kind of go through the history of the space. First off, communication device people. This is where I start withholding information on purpose. I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse? Like what we did over there with the Nicolay Hall. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Now, who the heck were Charles and Eliza? Son named Charles, had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know which Charles it is so I know how to refer to him. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics, and Quinn and Emma don't want to talk about politics either. So I can already see it on their face. Oh, it's one of them tours. No, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much better history. Eliza marries Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. Say it like that because if you two ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from the colonial times of when women got married, which was like 12 and 14. So, yeah, you would have been married. Yeah, I know, right? Married off. Dad would have married you off for a horse or a donkey or something. Yeah, that's kind of how things went down. But anyway, think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age. So it's creepy age gap then, creepy age gap. So with that said, let's talk about Eliza and why she married. Her father's over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all his children home one last time so you can see him. Eliza did not believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married in 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country yet. So she did marry Charles out of love. This is a true love story. This is nothing horrific like the TV shows. Now, back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our pigeons blue. Now, that's how we use it. But when Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's obviously not warm here all the time. I'm wearing heated gloves. So then she learned how to make the dye once she learned from her slaves how to keep it going, and then moved it down by the Stoner River, cash crop. Called her father up, or basically sent a letter overseas and said, rice plantations are going downhill, we're going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. So this is a celebratory thing. So let's kind of get into the weird stuff, because I've already told you the boring stuff. The weird stuff is why you guys are here. Where it's like, yeah, oh yeah. So, because you've never done this before, we're going to kind of see how this goes. So, the first set of questions I'm going to give you is going to be based on the mansion's not here unless you can see it and the rest of this thing. You're going to be asking what happened to the mansion. If you get the what, we will normally get 2 or 3 answers of the date, so the when. So if you say, hey, what happened to the mansion? And you say, when did that happen? Hopefully somebody will get the numbers of that date. because that's how this works. You might ask a question, but the answers can go anywhere. It can go to one of the two cameras' audio, because we're both recording audio, my voice recorder, or Emma's spirit box. Not to mention, we have a little Ouija board that we're using tonight too, so a short answer might go there. So you're going to stick to the thing you mentioned, fire. I just gave you the damn answer, didn't I? So, alright, so it was a fire. So now you can ask, when did that occur? So let's go after that. You're also going to, go after, let's keep it simple. I want you to go after how many children Eliza had. I'm not asking any other questions further about the children. There's gravity there. I'll talk about that before we leave, but let's see if we can get the correct one. Sorry, I don't normally slip up the answers. I think that's the first time ever I've ever done that, where I've actually slipped out of it. Emma, with yours, you're going to focus on Eliza's death. 4 major questions that we get about her: how old she was when she died, where she buried, what she died from, which president was a pallbearer that day. So 4 majors. Anything else that you ask about her death, just be respectful. Make sure it's not a yes/no question. That's all I was saying. Same thing with you guys. Ask more questions. Just make sure it's respectful. It's a place of respect. So try to do that. We'll do probably 1 to 2 round robins to kind of see what's going on. Based mainly on EMF and what the 2 of you are hearing. The 2 cameras, basically videographers at this point. I may not follow up with you in real time, but I definitely watch your videos in detail when I get back to the office. I think that about covers it. I'm going to show you how to reset that so everybody else can kind of spread out. Be mindful of the vehicle.
What a nice truck. What?
Am I supposed to go ahead and ask questions?
Yeah, you can ask questions.
Okay.
Like you said, be respectful.
Yeah.
Your hair is purple too.
Ugh, I miss my purple hair. It's fine.
We really like Nick.
Huh?
We really like Nick.
He's cool. I wish I was wearing like some cuddle duds or something. Some long johns.
Aren't you glad at least you got that jacket instead of your other jacket?
Thank you.
Honk?
What if I just run across the screen?
Hmm?
What if I just run across the screen?
I don't know, you look like a ghost. Dork.
Boo. already.
Just keep moving.
I know. Oh, there's some T-Pain. Is that something?
What?
There was T-Pain playing. Is that something? Eliza, did you like T-Pain? I feel like that's respectful.
Yeah.
Asking if she likes T-Pain.
Nobody likes it.
I like T-Pain.
Yes, you do. Like Ghost, too.
I mean, he's not like my favorite, but I don't dislike him.
I always kind of feel like Nick's a little sweet on your mom, too.
I feel like I wasn't being respectful now. Is that disrespectful to ask if she likes T-Pain? What is that?
Just want to get out of it. Don't think that. It's just a cheap EMF meter.
Ah.
And you'll think it's nothing. Oh, 27 point, at 27 point something, but I lost it before it.
Nope.
I did ask if she liked T-Pain, and now I'm scared that wasn't respectful.
It's not.
Oh.
If not, and that's what shuts her up.
Oh.
It's not a joke.
My bad. I wasn't thinking when I said it.
Ask something else.
Am I gonna get haunted now?
Only happy haunts.
Huh?
Only happy haunts.
A lot of Christmas music right now.
Hear any names or anything?
No.
Any words that stand out?
I'm getting a lot of static or just ooze in songs.
Yeah?
And I feel like there's a hair in my shoe that's poking me.
Oh, it's poking you like your foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I fix it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want to get in the truck or you want to sit on the tailgate?
Tailgate's fine.
It's unlocked. You just have to slide it down.
Okay, I'm gonna grab my cough drops because I still have that tickle.
I say, you driving us to the next spot?
Sure.
We're gonna go in the alley. We're gonna fit.
Yeah. I'll fold the mirrors in.
You ain't fitting down there. There's that post right in the middle.
Oh, we go over that.
You are not straddling that thing.
No comment. Emma cut everybody's hair today and a little bit yesterday. Now she's got a hair poking her foot. She's a cosmetologist.
She's a hairstylist, but yeah, she ends up with hair and interesting things.
That's one way to put it.
And it's like, you know when you have like a piece of hair that's like a needle? Like she gets that all the time. It's ridiculous.
I had a hair splinter in my leg one time.
Hair splinter, that's what they're called.
Tim and Quinn, why don't you come on back? Nice guy. Really nice guy. Got a chance to chat with him, finally.
Yeah, not everybody from Chicago's bad.
I was gonna say, like, I'm from another mobster city. Because I am. But I didn't want to put it out like that.
Well, you know, everybody in Cook County up there, you know, that you can die and still vote, so.
Yeah.
Many times over.
Tim and Quinn. I know Quinn
They're
came
having
here.
fun.
Yeah.
Quinn's had tons of questions.
I have a 67.7.
A what?
A 67.7.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is your tailgate hydraulic?
Yeah.
Huh, that's cool.
Are you getting anything?
No, I'm getting a lot of ooze and nothing.
Like no other
static.
words? Like, part of it just is hard. That's just a lot.
I just can't pick anything out.
Have you got to turn the head around?
Not all the way, because then I can't hear anything.
After he's
Yeah, go
done
ahead and
talking.
stop. Anything else besides blame or clean? Emma, did you hear anything along the way?
I got best.
Best clean.
I also did get arrive early. I don't know if that's anything.
I got a what time?
Really? What time is it? I don't time this.
I love that it was arrive early. And what time?
They're just talking.
Talking to each other when you listen.
Well, the funny thing is normally I don't time anything that we do besides like our last session. So like I just kind of go and like see like if we don't get a whole lot that's going on, I just say, all right, let's wrap this one up. And Tim, you can hit that record button while we're in here. Just if anybody starts to come through, point down. But we're here normally about 10 minutes earlier than what we normally are. So again, between that average. So again, arrive early and then what time? I'm like, oh shit, what time is it? So I am.
Oh, you're early.
But I felt like you guys were getting the gist of the equipment quite early, so that's why we kind of moved on and while we're out here. We could be out here till 3 o'clock in the morning. So this place is, I was looking to take it out, but I think I'm going to end up keeping it in. Every year I take out one spot at a new one, like I said. This was the spot I was going to take out because every ghost tour comes down here. And I think I'm going to leave it in just because the new space requires pretty quiet space for that location, and it doesn't normally happen on Fridays and Saturdays. So I figure on Fridays and Saturdays we won't do it unless I feel like the city is quiet like it is tonight. So I do have to pay attention to those things. You guys will see why once we get to that space. We need to complete things. It is a weird thing that we're going to be doing. But the last location was something I was looking to take out last year because I was getting disrespectful ghost hunters on your end, and they were kind of showing up like, "Come on, Eliza," and then they go take a leak in the corner, kind of disrespecting the space. So I was getting nasty messages on the spirit boxes. So I decided to give them a break. They could just go back every night now, and I tell them all of your names every single night. And I always tell Eliza how many people are bringing, and I know all of your names already ahead of time. Most of the time, so I just tell them, I just out of respect, still tell her every single night before I meet them. In this case, it used to be what we call Duelers Alley, where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So when you said blame, I was like, that kind of makes sense because we're about to talk about a duel. So he was blaming somebody for something. So it's very vague. I'm not going to count it as paranormal anything, but I could see where it could tie in. So let's kind of get into why we're here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to stir some things up, and then we're going to go to the next location. I'll tell you another piece of history over there, and then hopefully you're going to get the bleed over from this space as well. So we do have somebody that's going to be cutting through us, so you may want to just lower Sarah, you're going to be looking for the letters R.I. in here, specifically, in that order. So, here's how this goes. This is Philadelphia Alley now, Duelers Alley then. Here's why it's called Duelers Alley. There's lots of duels in Charleston, but they also had to have hiding spots all over town. So this is only where some of the duels used to occur for the city. So it was kind of a hiding spot. The doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. There's part of your R.I. So we're getting the letters R.I. all the time on regular spirit boxes. It's very significant to something else in the story. I'm going to get to that in just a minute and explain further. But his name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If the two of you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it is not coincidence. We get it all the time. It's part of his name. You guys are hopefully getting the point. Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash that she just received, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston from Rhode Island to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. He's going to start his medical practice down here. On his way into town, his coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It was like having a bad Uber driver. He dropped him off, and there's a gunman inside waiting to kill the guy for his money. So, somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Remember the initials I just told you? Exactly. So, it's exactly why I even have that device, because I was getting that RI all the time. I wanted to make sure with a specific letter device, which is why we have the digital Ouija code. So, Ralph tells the doctor, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. I have friends there. They'll rent you a room. You'll be safe. Good to go. The number 59 shows up here all the time, too, just so you guys have that idea. So the doctor took him up on the offer, and they became friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. He is, making his own, and he wants to marry her. She gets wind that he's making his own money. She's coming down so they can be married, and Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you're going to visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost, which is another reason I was going to take this out of my route, because I don't like cliches, right? And ours just happens to be a doctor, but we still get a crap ton of evidence from this guy, so I hate to take him out, so we're going to leave him in, at least for most of the week. But anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats at these plays. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. That's kind of how it goes. So one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're arguing on the way home about the actress that they just saw. They'd never seen her before, and Dr. Ladd thought she was great, and Ralph didn't. They start arguing, but then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and places an ad, and basically tells them, I want to tell the whole city what I think of Dr. Ladd. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd saw the ad in the paper, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress. The two men came down, back to back, took their 10 paces, turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. But Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So, I have had people hear the song Hands on My Knees, thinking it was a joke, and they were singing along. I'm like, that's actually relevant to where we're going. So you guys are getting the point of those song lyrics. But anyway, he fell to the ground, his friends picked him up, and they took him to 59 Church Street, back home, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd, 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed. Every ghost tour is going to tell you to listen for the whistles as we're down here. We have 2 video cameras plus my voice recorder recording audio right now. It's usually pretty quiet aside from that one air conditioner or furnace that's running in this alley. So even on a busy Saturday afternoon, it's pretty quiet. If we're going to get a whistle, it's normally going to come from a regular audio piece like the video cameras on my voice recorder, but I can't tell you how many times we've had the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor from a commercial show up, like a doctor. We get it all the time. So dozens of times, because I've been coming here for over 4 years now. It's a crazy coincidence. So I can't call it coincidence because it's happened that many times. So if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through here with your voice recorders and try to capture the whistles from your phone, listen to it later, just keep in mind all the locals know the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I used to do it every single morning when I was done with your data because my garage was over here, but my office is that way. So I had to pass the alley to get to my car in the morning. I used to always throw a whistle, especially since I got thrown out of here. Let's talk about that because that's the fun part of why we're here. So, and it was like, oh yay, somebody else gets in trouble. I see that little smirk on your face. The alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there, about halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is exactly why I like to stop right here. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. I know we had the word chicken earlier, but again, a little too far away for this reference. So they did keep cows and chickens down here. But that means that the bricks down at the other side are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way down there for a history lesson, nothing paranormal about it, simply because I treat that brick with the handprint the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. However, November 26th, 2020, entire group of 10 huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the gear that I hand out. Nothing's going to happen. I'm also trying to shoot them along out of respect for the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We were outside that man's dining room window, and he was pretty angry. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great, because she's probably about your age, and her dad's getting yelled at. She thought it was awesome. So, next day was Thanksgiving, because we just moved on and got away from it. I don't work on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for Walmart for long periods of time, upper management, and you guys like to fight over towels, and I've been scarred for life on Thanksgiving, so thank you for that. I will never work Thanksgiving again. So, the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time. I told him that was a very angry neighbor that we had, but he laughed at me just like my daughter, and basically said you're only allowed to go down halfway. That's the cutoff point for tours. So, you're going to have to do that to group. I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story. I'm sold out again because it's Black Friday. Again, it's just how the weekends work. Told him the next story is pirates. I'm a vampire guy. My apologies. I never had anything happen with pirates. We'll see what goes on. Before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny is who we're looking into next. So I was kind of like, okay, go up around the corner, tell them a little bit of history on pirates. Not much because I didn't have time to research. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300. I don't know what that one means. I have to write it down. Did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020, Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So, yeah, kind of a creepy thought, but I was actually pissed off simply because I'm a writer. I like facts and data when I'm doing this. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after their find facts and data about pirates, which means you just have to read more and more and more about pirates, watch more documentaries, play more video games. You guys are getting the point. I read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to make sure our 15 minutes of fame over there is going to be legit. So when we get over there, I'll give you the history of that space. Hopefully you're going to get bleed over from Dr. Ladd as well. You guys can keep your videos running if you want to, but I also like to point out the gate. Did I do the gate the last time you guys were around? I always sometimes I forget.
Can't recall.
I don't think so last time.
The gate, in a nutshell, remember I told you the alley didn't go all the way through this way? If there was a loser to the duel down here, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery that's behind this wall. So, in other words, they'd have to carry the dead body all the way down the Queen Street and double back if this gate wasn't here. So the wrought iron itself was probably put here in the early 1900s, just so you guys have that reference as locals. But the archway is definitely original to, you know, the alley itself. So the gate is probably made by the gentleman that actually just passed away. I think it was last year. He made a lot of the wrought iron gates that you guys see around town. So I want to say, you know, probably just passed away a few months back. But anyway, I just like to point this out. I actually call it the Death Gate. Which is a very interesting piece of history about Charleston if you really look at the way things were built and watch the evolvement of that. Speaking of which, I forgot to get something back to my guest from last night. He wanted a map of all the different plats from the 1800s of Charleston, and I have them. I just forgot to give him the link because I was having trouble with something in their data. So sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. That's what I do. I'm like that quirky guy from the Emperor's New Clothes where he just counts money and the little things go off. Yeah, that's me all the time. Any other major questions about dueling? Hopefully we're going to get more about Dr. Ladd. Did we hear anything? Do we have any numbers, letters? Talk to me before we exit the space.
Oh, I have one.
What do you got?
I had, when you were talking about the bricks and the, you know, just kind of the walkway, I had RUT, R-U-T.
Okay, so it's something spelled out.
Yeah.
If it spells out anything, 3 letters or more, I always write it down. Just because, again, it might be something. At this point, I don't know what it's
I thought wax, too. Which I think is just
No. We've had the word wax at the other site where we're going before, which is weird. So, I'm sorry,
Nope. I had an "it's you." That was.
Was that anything specific after something I said?
Not that I remember. I should have written that down too.
It's okay. Well, it was just kind of like how Mom remembers that the word rut when I was talking about the bricks. So it kind of like maybe stuck out there. So if it doesn't stick out to you, well, it doesn't mean anything, but we still heard something. So again, we never know what's going to be accounted for. Any craziness in the cameras, gentlemen?
Nope, not really.
All right, let's go learn about some
Well,
radio
that's pretty
pirates.
crazy.
Definitely listen to those spirit boxes along the way.
That's pretty big.
Yep.
one thing you'll find out about Bob is he'll talk more and more. The next time you see him, he'll probably want to
I'm trying to be good.
He'll be doing your tour for you. He'll be like, God damn it, Bob.
I'm just as big of a smart ass. I can dish it back. Yeah, I don't have an issue
You'll
with
be like,
that.
God damn it, Bob, just shut up.
I'm keeping my mouth shut most of the time.
Ladies, what do we got?
Journey.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it. We got to get you better at this.
Okay.
I had going there right now, prosthetic, and 23rd.
I always like numbers. Not that I don't like Journey.
Oh, I got one, but like
One and then Journey.
One
journey.
is the lonely
one, and then Mariah Carey and Journey. I got Mariah Carey too. There you go. A lot of Mariah Carey.
And it was her Christmas song too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. All I want
Yeah.
is just you. Yeah. Because it's on my birthday.
Kill me now.
Apparently, my father-in-law has a thing for Mariah Carey, so whenever this time of year comes around, all I hear is my mother-in-law bitching about Mariah Carey. All season.
We bitch about her for another reason. It's just like, can you just please turn her off?
Alright, obviously we got cameras running, so we're good. Anything crazy going on? Alright,
No.
so just so you have the idea, I am excited about a 2.5 in here,
Okay.
because we don't always see a whole lot, if anything. Let's see, if there's anything specific that we've had spelled out for us in here, but you will be looking for initials of A, B, or MR. So, let's get into why we're here. The building behind you guys, that is the gunpowder magazine. So see him now. He served in 7 different wars, holding gunpowder, and served 1 rebellion on top of that. So those are not crosses on the building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what an earthquake bolt is, it's a turnbuckle. It goes all the way through to the other side and looks just like that. If we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned prior at the beginning of our night, you can turn the turnbuckles and it tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. Great idea, it just doesn't work. So, yeah, exactly. The only reason I point them out is because it's part of the reason why we're here. That's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. They're all over every other building as well. You can see them on the apartment building, the brick building behind it. But you guys have been seeing them in pineapples and lion heads and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit. So that's kind of what we do. Now, the reason why that's the first set is because that is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. That building is what I call a familiar to our guest Anne Bonny. So that building was being constructed at the same time that she was coming here to start her new life. You guys watch the TV shows, you've seen the Boo Buddy, right? That's the teddy bear with the little blinky light EMF meter in there. They use that to attract what type of ghost?
Full body apparition.
Well, like a kid,
Yeah.
right? So they're trying to get in touch with a child, right? They do that because the child would recognize the teddy bear as a toy. Think of that concept of why we're here. We don't have many buildings this old, so the hope is that she's going to be here at the same time we are. So that's kind of how this goes. However, the story is very interesting, as Sarah's already kind of pointed out, that Emma's really going to enjoy this one. However, she seems laser focused with her one headphone over her head. So, 1708. I will slow down on the twists, but try to follow me. There are a couple of them. But the rest of the story I try to breeze through because it can get lengthy if I stop and like, oh, well, this happened and that happened. So let's kind of get to it. 1708, young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far? The 3 of them running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was the wife that she kicked them out of the country, right? There's no planes. It's 1708. It's by boat. They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat in Georgetown. Hence the familiar building. You guys are getting the point. Back home in Ireland, they say Anne was a badass even when she was a young lady. So at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So we have gotten the terms servant, knife, and belly all from 3 different boxes. You get the point. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is pretty stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys so that way she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world. First guy she fell in love with. I say that slowly because I said first. There's a handful. We're going to cover them all. So, first guy is James Bond. Right? You already know where this one's going because I've already given you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they got married, and Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, when they get down there, she realizes that James Bonny is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. That makes him a spy for the British and a coward. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2, I'm going to keep track for you. I can't get lost. Guy number 2 is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of. So in case you were wondering. Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of Jack's crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Or remember why? It's bad luck. I get a lot of like weird looks and a lot of the, yeah, I'm not answering that question with my kid around. But anyway, it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like a crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Rhode Island. Wrong story, right? Back in Ireland to hide her from his wife. So she's fine with it. It's a man's world. But most of us are adults here. We can think outside the box. She is a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the ship. Somebody's going to figure it out, right? So he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. None of my research and all of the pirate books I've read has ever revealed what happened because we don't know. Let's just put it out there. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. To make him even more mad, she's going to flirt with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew the Calico Jack just captured. And we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Now, Mary and Anne become lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but definitely friends. The British find out where they are. They send an entire fleet of Navy ships to come and take out one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only two pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with one-bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, two ladies with one-bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The dog shows up on your spirit boxes all the time. The judge wants to see the two quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The two ladies go in front. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge does not give a damn that they are female. They are still pirates, and he's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they shouted to him, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays their hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2 with guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt, because we don't know jack shit about her that's true after her pirate career. Mary Read died 5 months later in April of 1721 from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books are going to tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why not? Here's what I left out of the story. I'm not going to assign questions here because you can ask whatever you want to. This is not the prominent Englishwoman of where I'm trying to control the situation. Again, that's more of a respectful place. Kick Anne in the shins to try to get these answers if you have to, but here's a couple of things that I did leave out. I left out the names of her parents. That's the father and the mistress. So just kind of keep that in mind. The name of the city where she grew up in Ireland, if you want to ask that question, and the name of Calico Jack's ship that she joined. Everything else is fair game, again, but those are some of the common things that I'll normally throw out there, and I also left out on purpose about doing answers, like I did earlier at the Pink Convention. Like, again, first time in 4 years. Good job.
Talent.
I know, right? She like drew it right out of me too. Like I was like, I normally don't tell. Like, why am I saying fire right now? So it was just blinking in my head. So again, largest orb I've ever caught has been caught in this location near that wall box, just so you have that idea. Tim, with your camera, it will act up from time to time. About once or twice a year, it'll look like snow from an old tube TV, and then whoever you're filming, their device will stop working. I've had it happen at least two times each year that I've been doing this. So very weird occurrence. Hasn't happened about 7 months now since we've had one of those. It's been a while. Who knows? But yeah, let's spread out. Let's have some fun. Let's do this.
Before you talked about the pirate lady and all her husbands, I heard 3 to 4. Like,
I like it.
3 men. Not bad.
Who got blindfolded out of your guys' group last time? What happened?
Ellie I think Ellie had the headphones on, and there was another girl that was
Doing the virtual reality thing?
yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember who did what.
And Sarah's been
Blindfolded.
she had the first time. Yeah. I think that's right. Yeah, that's
I
right.
think that, yeah, I think so. Right. I usually have a pretty good memory about the people that I like.
And unfortunately, we're back.
Honestly, I got excited. I was already stuck in traffic. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Bob and Sarah are coming back. Let's see who they're bringing
I
out."
show Sarah, I'm like, look, he's already responded. She's like, wow.
I didn't even text you this morning. Nothing really changed. Not the starting point or anything like that.
Yeah, I guess same bat time, same bat channel.
Exactly.
It all works for me.
And that'll be my starting point for as long as I'm in Charleston. Like, that's...
I think it's a great starting point.
Yeah, it's away from all the other groups. Again, nobody's going up there for anything. I'm not disturbing anybody. Hell, half the time the guys from Big John's come out and go, "How many people you got tonight? Are you ever going to do the investigation inside the bar?" I'm like, one day. Because again, that's something debacle of, like, how do I set up an event inside one location, like a bar, where I have to control who comes in. Because again, I want to know who's touching my gear. You know what I mean? So
I get that.
But yeah, it's and not to mention, like, I have to make any kind of profit, I have to charge like $150 for a 4-hour investigation for each person.
Yeah.
So if a couple's going to come in, it's going to be $300
Let me know.
because I got to pay to rent the space out. That kind of thing.
Let me know.
I'm not selling at this point. I'm just telling you.
I'm
like,
just,
some of the things
but
that
I'm
come up.
just telling you, if you need to fill in a couple spots, I happen to know 2 people that would come.
I probably wouldn't pay anything. I'd just like, get your asses in here. Show these people, help me show these good people a good time. But yeah, that family. I love how Quinn's getting into it.
Yeah, she's gotten into
Yeah.
it since we started.
She's loosening up a little bit. She showed up a little giddy, how the teenagers normally do.
When we were but night and day compared to my other kid.
Yeah.
Ellie's a different child even compared to her sister.
Yeah.
And no 2 are the same. I know that, but man, I don't know.
My kids have different fathers. I have a stepdaughter,
Mhm.
and then I have London, who's mine, and they're like completely different. Completely different.
Well, but that kind of stuff will keep you on your toes too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If the other one ever starts talking to me again, we'll get to that point later on in life.
That's where we are with the other one right now. Yeah, we were just in Florida at Disney, and that did not go over well. We took one of her friends from Tennessee, and Ellie was, well, let's just say, a pain in the ass the entire trip, and ignored her friend and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yet her friend went with Sarah and I to Animal Kingdom, and I don't know, her friend and I, we had to run to, I think we ended up CVS or Walgreens or something like that, and then we grabbed dinner and brought it back, and a 17-year-old girl, she's out with some strange husband and wife, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, I'd rather go with you than just sit around.
Yeah.
She'd never been to Disney. She was
yeah.
just absorbing it all in.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
who wants to sit around at Disney first time? Who
so,
wants to do
but it was a lot of fun having her there, because she was just like, everything was just so over the top.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it's like,
awestruck.
yeah, and hated to see her go, but then again, I didn't blame her to go either.
Any reading, Sarah?
I had a 3.4.
Where at?
Kind of in the middle of, you know, like I'm walking like along this line of the
Okay. Yeah, that's
thing.
more than likely.
kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, coming from the parking meters, because we will get like 3 to 7s up in
Okay.
this front half. I normally, that's why I'm like, where? Because normally in the back I'm excited about those 2.5s and higher.
Does it come and because you know like you know how you kind of stand there to see like is it going to continue to climb or go back down? Does it kind of like come in waves of like it's good? Okay.
Yeah, it's going to give out pulses.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of what it did. Cause as I was standing there, kind of going, it came up to 3.4, and then it kind of went back down
I always
to
kind of felt like it was
0.7.
somebody walking by you, and as it goes down,
And it's like not like reproducible where you're like, okay, yes, no, yes, no. It's just kind of like
when we
kinda
were in the
came out of
parking
nowhere.
lot, I had that, and it was like
You had high numbers up.
I had really high numbers there, and it didn't matter where I was at, up front, towards the back. It was just kind of all over the place. But
Yeah, that guy last night, he was the same way. I mean, he was all over. Like, we were just sitting there chatting. I was kind of showing him some things about, you know, other pieces, because I only had 2 people
wow.
last night. And I come showing them about their devices that they're using, and it's just boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was all over the place. And then we started moving around. He had the same thing. Like, the whole time we were there, he was getting like a 50, and then a 1, and then a 60. Two older guys walking by. Smell that? Like, seriously?
yeah, why not? yeah, that is what I smell. Isn't it? Yeah, it's Charleston. I'm sure they've got prescription for that.
You need to buy it. Go to the damn store and buy it.
I know, that just blows my mind. Yet I can't be a nurse and partake,
Oh.
because that's still still a bad thing.
I have migraine for my seizures and headaches because I get migraines.
Yeah.
So
I've heard that it really does.
It's instant, dude.
It helps.
Instant.
It helps a lot of people.
Like, I just started doing that.
We had a patient that was, well, had a prescription for it, and that was 10 years ago. in Illinois was really stickler about it, real stickler, and he struggled and struggled, and you know he would buy it illegally because it worked,
Yeah.
and then he finally, when they started bringing it to make legality out of it, sort of,
Yeah.
he would. It worked for him. It really did, and he was also my neighbor, which didn't probably help
It's
situations.
literally one done.
Really?
I'm not.
Yeah,
It's an instant.
Dave was a little more than one hit, but he was a lot bigger guy than me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm not driving anything.
Well, you know.
I'm going home. I'm going back inside to play Assassin's Creed. Like, because I've been playing for 2 hours and I got a migraine from it. So I'm gonna take a hit outside, and I'm gonna let the wife stay in bed and sleep, and I'm gonna play my game.
Play your game. That's right.
That's
Are you a headphone kind of guy and all in, or you got it on the TV going?
It's on the TV going.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that. I've not gotten into video games since, oh my God, I'll tell you how old I am. Since my Atari 2600.
I had one of those.
Yeah. I just got, well,
I had a 7800 as well.
I don't think I have it anymore. I think I got rid of it after my mom died, but she still had it downstairs.
Yep. I think my mom still has
Actually,
mine.
I think it's in the. I think it's still in a box in Illinois. My brother's got it with a whole bunch of stuff that we couldn't figure out what to do. It still
I
works.
used to run video game stores in Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had 5 stores, Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio. So I was a mini district manager for a company called Game Crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, video games were a big deal.
A big thing.
Yeah.
Emma is she's got her PlayStations and she loves, and I don't know what her games she plays, but
And my wife.
she likes the shoot 'em up, bang 'em up games. So.
I don't know.
Oh.
I
And
told
then
you I
she's
got
got
my
a
wife
couple
into it
of.
because it was CMT.
Oh. Yeah.
It's actually helping with the dexterity to keep everything moving.
Well, yeah.
So I got.
But you know, one of the nursing homes that we visited when I was in nursing school, that was part of their physical therapy.
Playing games.
Yeah.
I'm telling it's helped. Like if she's not building Legos, we got Harry Potter Legos all over the house. If she's not building Legos, I got her playing a damn video game to keep. And she's going to be to school to be a vet.
Huh?
Like crazy. All right, let me follow up with these ladies.
I'm not really seeing much, but the screen is so small. I just kind of keep panning around. I like him a lot. I really, really do. He's just a straight shooter. It's kind of refreshing.
It's fun. It's fun. It's fun to come out and play.
I agree.
Like this, it's just
And it's fun to talk to him because.
yeah, like I mean, and it's not, you know, play as in like, you know, I mean,
No, but I mean, this is the kind of
I
stuff
don't mean
we
it
don't have.
derogatory. But it's just really interesting and fun, even though I've not seen it the damn thing.
And it's probably sitting on your shoulder, just like, you know, like I said, the happy haunts following you home. It's all around you and you just don't recognize it. That's what I like to think.
Those were even, I think 6 months and down were going when you were still talking. So, destination is everything.
Excuse me. Goodness.
I've had bed.
I like the fact that you're getting anything. There's some nights I think it's
Yeah, I mean, like it's not a, but no EMF.
What'd you get?
Bed and lip.
Lip?
Yeah, it's had some stuff that like where I kind of want where it starts to spell something like love
Anna and
and
Mary Reeder
but I'm
and
like,
the
no,
new season
that's
of our
probably
Five Stuff.
hormone
No.
stuff.
Yeah.
I know that looks like
They're a couple.
text emoticon talk.
Yeah,
But
which nobody else would know that,
at
right?
the same
Like,
time, you have to talk about this is the early 1700s
Right,
when women
right.
really didn't know how to read and write. Is she trying to spell it out?
ooh, that's a good point though.
So is it something? I don't know. Am I reaching?
Right. See, that's kind of what I thought too, because you're like, could it be something, or is this just my like 21st century brain?
Yeah. I mean, I know we look at that as texting,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you have to think, how is love spelled out? It's spelled out. So sorry, English guys.
Yes. So I had love too, LEC.
I will tell you that Quinn told me that she heard 3 to 4 when we broke apart, right?
Uh-huh.
But I also have to look at that, like as I'm writing it down, I'm like, that could be 3, 2, 4, as in March 24.
Ooh, that's cool.
So again, my brain is always thinking in that, what does this actually mean? It doesn't have to be the context that you heard it. It could be a message of like, hey, it's 3 to 4 lovers, or it could be March 24th. Is March 24th something in this history? I don't know. That's where I get excited, and it's the weird stuff. Yeah. So that's where I come from. You had two things. Something else, which is these
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's tutorial.
No, I'm good.
The EMF reader is
I have a
almost
hand.
irrelevant. I'll
Okay.
take that from you.
Gotcha.
Because we're on a street corner.
Okay.
No reason to take a look at that.
Oh, you're down to 2 again.
That's why I got the vest now. So I can handle all the different stuff.
Sorry, miss.
I know, right? I think they labeled it as the grocery stalker vest. I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna slap a paranormal investigator sticker on their back. Let's do it. Alright, so when you slap this guy on,
I think they're gonna be coming around.
oh wait, it's going to pass before I hit the record button. It's gonna be super intense. So keep an eye on the timer. So about the 5-minute mark, I'm gonna switch everything over so that way Tim can get a gist of what this guy actually does. And you're not really gonna say anything unless you hear something that's happening. You're gonna hear everything. You're gonna hear the whole music inside the car, like it's angry, like it's that intense. So,
Okay.
slap those over your ears. Yeah, you gotta get it all the way through. There you go. Did I tangle them up?
I wish I had a stylist that could help me out get a good haircut.
I've been trying to do a shag.
She's been trying to give you a good haircut. Be quiet.
Yeah. Totally.
Wow.
So, with this particular location, why we're here, definitely, I'm going to take a look at your notes. Don't think I'm ignoring them because I do want to see them. You're definitely going to shout things out at me that you hear. So again, that goes for both of you. If you guys hear something while I'm going through this, we've gotten answers this way too, but what we're really hoping for out of this is that he's going to hear our ghost's actual voice come through there. Again, with the foot traffic and the regular traffic, you guys are going to see why I'm only going to be doing this Sunday through Thursday. Because stuff like that sounds like it's literally inside of his head. Like it is that intense. So here's how this goes. It's kind of quick and short. We are here because this is as far as I can take you. It's as close as I can get to where the actual murder occurred. So 2 blocks going down Meeting Street, right? November 1st, 1933, a woman fell to the ground and she starts screaming in pain, basically. And she's screaming, "A man hit me, and the pain hurts me so."
Oh, yeah.
That's exact quotes. "A man hit me, the pain hurts me so." A really kick-ass 1930s car was driving by and seen a woman on the ground. And back then, there was a lot more gentlemen. So he stops and he helps her out and helps her into his car. He takes her down to St. Roper's Hospital, which is where MUSC sits right now. So it's about 3 to 4 miles away from here. So whoever hurt her gets away. She gets down to the hospital and she has a doctor and a nurse. The doctor's name is Dr. Avery Finger. I say it slowly because A, it's funny. Secondly, we've had both of those names actually show up as I'm telling the story. Anyway, And the nurse's name, and I can only assume that she's female because of the time period, her name was Nurse Glasscock. So she dies on their table. That's another funny name. Yes, I know. So, trying to be adult about it. Bob screwed that all up. Good job. But
Being a nurse, I can appreciate that.
so, and those bells are not happy for you either, I'm sure. Again, told you, super intense. So where was I? She dies on the table. They don't know what happened to her or why she died. So they send her over to autopsy. Autopsy finds a mark underneath her arm and then a gunshot in between her ribs. No gun residue whatsoever, barely any blood whatsoever. This 38 special bullet goes all the way through her rib cage and lodges in there and slowly stops her heart. That's how she was able to live from here to there. However, we don't know anything about the shooter, who it was, why they shot her. This woman's name was Mary Ravenel. This is a very prominent name here in Charleston. You came over from Mount Pleasant, you came over the Ravenel Bridge. The Ravenels are politicians, very prominent, high money, high society type of people here from Charleston. So, what kind of questions would you ask this woman to try to get her to come talk to us?
What's your name?
What'd you say?
What's your name?
Well, we know her name.
Yeah, let's play that.
This is a murder mystery.
Oh, my
We're
bad.
going after the mysterious parts of this. So we can get her to tell us her name. That would be great to prove that she's here for validation. But I'm thinking more along the lines of, what don't we know? What can we prove here?
Description of the perpetrator.
Okay. So what kind of description were you thinking? Like,
Probably more physical, like if she saw anything.
okay.
Facial features, any distinguishing features.
Okay. Clothing would probably be good too.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Sarah, you got anything? What kind of questions would you ask?
I was kind of going down the same path Emma was going with, like, what did the person look like?
Yeah. You could even go like, was there an altercation other than like?
I would kind of want to know
Pushing
maybe if she
or-
knew them.
Yeah, that's
Was
another
it
good
someone
one.
that she knew? I did get job, by the way.
Okay.
It would be.
Where's a joke?
I get that one a lot.
There's an E on joke.
Not always.
Trying to stop.
The Bible. Spelled joke.
I'm going to point out that her jewelry was intact.
Oh.
It's not a robbery.
No, not a robbery, not a close shot.
Not a close shot.
So the where was she going comes up all the time. That's one that I wouldn't have come up with. So I think that's why it surprised me when you came up with it again, because I've been hearing it a lot since I started doing this. I started doing this on the actual anniversary of it, November 1st. It was the first time I came here. Today's only the 22nd of December. So
The fact that I got job makes me think, what was her occupation?
she was.
Do we know that?
So she didn't really truly have an occupation because she married into money.
Do we think that maybe she had a extramarital affair?
Possibly, but nothing can be proven in that. There
Okay.
are theories about it.
And we don't think that she maybe had a side hustle?
Nope.
Assassination, like somebody's job.
It could have been. Could have been that she was.
Was she a woman of the night?
Yeah, that's where I was
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Interesting piece. I like it.
Because I mean,
It is
why
1933.
would you say
Philip Moss
like a
is
man
correct.
if
Yeah.
you knew
I like
who
it.
it was?
Bob, any questions you would think?
Sarah already hit mine, so.
So I will tell you one of the phrases that came through last night. And keep in mind, I only had 2 people last night. People like use. We're not allowed across the street, so he's using flashlights to kind of go over some of the points. Yeah. But one of the phrases that came through was, "It was a black man," and I was like, "Wow!" Like that was like, again, been coming here for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. That's the first time anything like that ever came. So of course that was a big piece of it. There is speculation that she tried to commit suicide. Let me give you that little quick theory. They say that she owned her own 38 special type of gun. Again, this type of bullet that was lodged in her was very specific. I'm not a guns and ammo person. So the bullet hole was here.
If she committed suicide, how would she not have gun residue on her?
Right.
That's
and
a
that
good
was the whole
question.
point.
Yeah.
Especially with an old gun, you would have some kind of kickback or something on the hands.
Yeah.
There would
You'd
be
have it
there
on
would be
modern
something
weapons,
on
too.
her.
Well,
Yeah.
they're basically saying that she had it in the bag and she may have tripped and it triggered it and it went off.
Oh.
So maybe an accidental
Is
type.
it, you said it went through the side?
I guess.
Well,
And
then
then-
That could make sense.
Use something or whatever.
But all she was saying was that a man hit her. She didn't say that she was shot. She never said that she was shot. That's the weird thing. Is I don't even know that she knew that she was shot.
Well, but if you think about it, like, and I'm going to throw out Forrest Gump, but
got-
I got bit in the buttocks.
Yeah.
No, oh,
Right,
something
he
bit
really
me.
didn't-
Yeah.
Something bit me in the buttocks.
Yeah.
You know, something hit me.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hate to reference old movies.
Was there a police report filed? at
Is
the
there a what
time?
file?
Was there a police report filed?
Oh
at
yeah,
the time?
and
okay.
it's like what's available to us is very minimal.
Okay.
So again, there's some details there, but a lot of it's speculation. You guys will have the links to everything that I have. Cool. So this is like playing a clue mystery for you guys. So I'm not gonna oh well we heard this phrase. Here's the proof of that. Like this is you guys help me out here. This is a new space for me, and I figured you guys have been working 3 spaces with me so far, so you kind of get the gist of how to listen, what to look for, and what kind of questions to ask. So this is where we really get to kind of collaborate. As you're interested in the ghost hunting piece, let's put you to work instead of just doing the listening and watching and echoing. So we hitting about the 5-6 minute mark on your end, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so turn your volume all the way down and pass your headphones to Dad. So we're going to give him a few minutes. Yeah, totally different. Hang on to the headphones for just a minute. I'll wrap them up. And I want to
Is it really, really loud? Wait,
Uh-huh.
don't strangle me.
It's intense.
It's intense,
And
yeah.
actually, it's still recording.
And anybody that was coming by with their car, it didn't matter if it was a,
Keep your spirit
well,
box
the
running.
Porsche that came by sounded really, really good.
All right, hold this quarter.
I could have baked for a second.
And of course, these guys down here, I could hear the guy talking, like creepily talking. Yeah.
He's got the same look you did, Bob.
Okay,
he's like,
it's just one of the extended ones where it's really creepy.
It was crazy.
Look at that dog from getting in the road.
Yeah, still terrifying.
So again, we're going to give him a few minutes just to kind of listen in. What we've caught so far, just so you guys know, as I was kind of going over the murder mystery and her basically saying that she fell to the ground and was screaming, for help, we heard a help in the background. And it was a super quiet night. No foot traffic, no car traffic, no anything.
Right behind me.
Jordan.
It's a woman. Right behind me.
Right behind you. Any other phrases that you heard, Emma?
I had heard, and this was all on the way over, I haven't gotten anything yet, but
Okay.
I got never forget 160, like the number,
Okay.
keep, and then the number 94.
Let me see what you got going with your list. The religious pieces, we're passing by a lot of these very prominent churches. It happens all the time. I'm not discounting it, but it is something that I commonly see. I will count it just as a whole. So if you heard like Jesus, pew, church music, and I would count all that through. Just because of bitter. That's not something we normally hear. So I'm actually pretty excited. Thank you, my female voices. What she said to the person that she came to, I think I keep hearing whispering. You're supposed to tell me that shit. That's the stuff I'm looking for. Like, come on. But the funny thing was, because I do listen to that, and from start to finish, I also caught it before she said it. So it was a double whammy. Like, she knew it wasn't in front of her. We've also caught somebody coughing when we're talking about our next person, which if the two of you remember how he actually died, that would make complete sense because we tried it out at that location as well. So it's pretty cool stuff. So I think we're going to wrap it up. good. Good. Pay attention. If you want to take a quick listen, you guys want to pass it around. Anybody who hasn't listened to it, they're like, nope, I'm good. Okay. It is pretty nuts.
I get overstimulated.
Put this away, kind of wrap up some of these devices. Not all of them are going to be used up for next solution. And too many pockets at this point. Definitely want you to have that back. Your spirit box. So you two switch spirit boxes, like turn your volume down and pull out your headphones, because I want you to have the one that's recording is one that quit. Actually, no, I'll take it.
Sick.
That. Headphones for Bob. Take those. Thank you for hanging on to them.
Sure.
Got distracted by dude's flashlight. Not only was she killed 2 blocks from here, but she's buried right there. And he heard right behind me. So, kind of makes sense now, doesn't it?
That's kind of cool.
Why we're here. You guys are going to sit here and chat for 5 minutes. Cool. Become besties.
Actually, we're just going to go make fun of you.
Yeah.
5 whole minutes. It's okay, it'll all be on the recording later. So when we come back, we are going to stay pretty tight knit. So Bob's going to be filming you guys completely, because I'm sure you guys are going to want to put this up on your socials, because everybody wants to carve it out of their YouTube video and be like, hey, look, I was blindfolded. I did some cool shit in Charleston. Then you can, make sure you tag me on that. So we've gotten triple-digit EMF during these sessions before. See, it's project. Origami project. By the way, don't put any of this gear on until we come back.
Cool.
Again, I don't like to blindfold ladies and then walk away. So it doesn't
Oh,
look
In the dark, in the dark park.
in a dark park.
Appreciate it.
In a strange city.
So just hang on to it. I normally say if you can figure it out, good luck. I'll help you when we get back. But we have gotten triple-digit EMF. I want you to also keep in mind that if we don't get answers from Emma directly, they could show up on the only other device that we actually have that's running right now is going to be obviously the Ouija board. So hopefully we'll get things from that that will kind of give us some answers. I'm not going to give you my phone just yet. I'll slide my phone in there once we come back. So just hang tight for 5, and the rest of us, let's go run some crazy history while we're here. You two already know it, so it's really all about Tim. Tim, mainly this is for you, because I've heard this. So Finn, we're going to start off with you of what to expect. Have you ever done virtual reality before?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not going to be a 3D in your face like most virtual reality. You're going to see some rolling, basically like cigar smoke, and it's going to be kind of a background, and then a 2D picture will show up in front of it, just like a photograph being held up there. It's not going to come up in your face. Yeah. So it's going to be using the EMF around us. So all you're going to do is describe in a quick manner what you see. 2 ladies, bench, tree. Very simple. If Emma's not saying much, I may ask you probing questions like, give me a time period. What color are these people? What are they wearing? Like that kind of thing. So it'll only be up there for probably 10 to 15 seconds. You may get 0 images. You may have 12 images. You never know. That's the fun part about this. Also keep in mind, we've been getting bleed over from Mary. So that's actually what inspired me to go learn about Mary, was this experiment. So I'll explain that before we leave the space. As far as your end, Emma, you're going to repeat whatever you hear.
Cool.
And your spirit box is going to be loud enough where you cannot hear me. Again, once you start, you put those headphones on, you turn your spirit box up, and do not touch your spirit box. We want to make sure you're not cheating. And we've had people do it, believe it or not. So once you're up, that's when I very much start the timer. Again, 10 minutes only. When we're done, Mom or Dad's going to tap you on the leg. You take off your own gear and we'll never touch you.
Okay.
If you're speaking too loud, because we have neighbors,
I am very loud.
Mom or Dad will tap you from the shoulder.
Cool.
Okay? That means quiet down. If we can't hear you, somebody's going to lift up your thing and say it louder. We're going to keep it nice and simple so you can get back to it.
Okay.
If you hear yes, no answers, that's okay. Tell me those. I may ask our ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting you to say yes.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
This is pretty much the only scenario where I'm okay with you guys telling me yes, no answers, only because you don't know the questions.
Cool.
Okay, so go ahead and blindfold first, get headphones, crank it up. I'm going to set your gear up here, Miss Quinn. Now, this is my phone, so if my wife is sending you dirty pictures, you have to tell me what's going on.
Of course, yep.
Describe.
Yes, please, describe.
Never mind, I got it.
You know what's funny is during the session last night, my mother called. And her
Calm down, Mom.
well, my mom doesn't fully understand what I do for a living, so the woman, the poor girl that was underneath this, like it's labeled Mama Cell, so and it comes up Mama Cell calling. She's like, who the hell is Mama Cell calling? And she's got this headset on, so it's hysterical because it's vibrating at the same time. So funny. We all died of laughter. All three of us. So this is your focus. If it's blurry, just turn that.
Cool.
Pop it over your head. Let's do this. Anna, can you hear me? What color is the blue banana? Is the green banana purple? Okay, so you can't hear me. Perfect.
Whoa.
It is. Henry, can you tell us if you're here with us? Let's talk about your occupation, though. You know how we start this. I brought some familiar faces. Henry? She looks super still. Is that normal? Okay.
$100. It's green.
Okay. What's your...
Like this, it's like a lot of green, blurry, and like.
Now you're the one.
Oh, my bad.
She gets that a lot.
I'm trying to concentrate.
Henry? So, I'm sorry, what was green again?
Just, it was a green setting and lots of swirls. Black swirls.
Black. Henry, I don't know what that means. We're going to move on. Let's talk about your occupation. Let's start with some of the tools you've had to use. What did you
There's
use?
none.
You use tools for your job. What was your job? Henry, I guess let me take a step backwards. Let's reiterate what's going on here tonight. You and Mary Ravenel are the only ones allowed to come through. Everybody else is not welcome. We are looking to speak with Henry Timrod or Mary Ravenel only.
Baby.
Okay. Whose baby? Are we going straight into talk of your son since his birthday's coming? That's a yes/no question. Pretty cool about her something right away. They're screaming at me. It's all great.
90 years.
Here. Mary Ravenel was 64 when she passed away, so it's not all Mary either. Henry. Henry Timrod, can you come through and tell us about your occupation? We've asked two things so far, your son and your occupation. Feel free to answer any of those questions. We're using the green box tonight. So if you want to show us anything.
Horse. Brown
She's
horse.
funny. She's like this all the time. Yeah.
That was my first.
That was your first horse? That's how this works. It's supplemental. We're going down. Henry, is that your first horse? Is that what you're showing us? That's a yes/no question. Okay. Can you tell us about your son a little bit further? Celebrate him a little bit. His birthday's coming up. Can you tell us what day that is?
Birthday.
Thank you. Can you tell me what number of the date of the month his birthday is? What's the date of his birthday? We're looking for a number. Henry, can you give us the date of his birthday? You just had a birthday. I've been telling you happy belated every night that I've been here. So tell us your son's birthday. What's that number? It's on a holiday. You can give us that holiday as well. That should be an easy grab right now. The frequencies that we're using to communicate should be giving you plenty to be able to use to tell us his birthday. I got one giggly one and one that's like, she's in Zen world right
She
now.
really is, yes.
Powerful.
Henry, I'm still going after Henry or Willie's birthday. Give us the holiday or the number. I appreciate you telling us birthday's coming. Let's be more specific, please.
Safe.
It's pretty quiet here tonight. I know you like it nice and quiet. Should we talk about something else? That's a yes.
Replaced. Purpose.
Kind of a stretch for me to say, let's replace the subject. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not a phrase even from that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Henry, let's talk about your wife. How did you meet her? Any other images? Queen?
No.
Falling asleep in there?
Nope.
Okay. Henry?
Nobody knows.
We do know how you met her. Maybe it's supposed to be a secret. Was it supposed to be a secret how you met her? Because of the age gap?
Yeah, I feel.
Henry, you're not giving us many images.
He was in the hospital.
I don't know anything about this.
Long ride.
Henry, you're like
Red hat. Red cup, like red teacup.
Okay. Anything on the teacup?
No, but the teacup is on a red.
Saucer?
Yeah.
Henry, what's going on with this teacup? I don't know anything about that either. We're running out of time, Henry. It's been almost 8 minutes already, so you guys have that idea. Henry, anything you want to tell us?
That was not your mother's.
Wow, that's deep.
Me too.
Henry, what do you want to tell us before we wrap this up? You're pretty quiet tonight, but you did have at least one specific answer. I'd like more imagery.
The music played.
The music played at the hospital? I'm still trying to put that story together. None of that makes sense, Henry. Henry, if you give us one more image wrap it up for the night. Use the green box. Henry, we're gonna say goodnight. Can you say goodnight?
Watching me.
Henry, can you tell us what we're hearing right now? He said no. Henry, what are we hearing from the church? What did we just hear? You can show us an image of it. We'll identify. Going off prescriptions.
Pouring rain.
Henry, do you want us to go home? You just say the word home, we'll understand.
Gone.
That was pretty abrupt, St. About as bold as you can get.
Treated.
Can you tell us the word home? One more image, Henry. We'll wrap it up. Okay, Henry, going once, twice. Next time we're out. Go ahead and peel that off your face. I was really excited about birthday coming through. I thought that for sure we were going to.
Hi.
Hi.
Right.
How are you
Welcome back.
feeling?